Ladies and gentlemen, today, things are looking amazing. As I've been telling you guys for a while, that if you're paying a lot of attention to Twitter, there's probably going to be some crazy opportunities for you. Today, I've been sharing that one of the best opportunities of the day was to try and buy into CZ's meme coin. It's basically the co-founder of Binance, and he was gonna launch, I wouldn't say a meme himself, but he was going to say what the name of his dog was with a picture of his dog. As it did today. The name, by the way, was Broccoli. A lot of people bought in. It was carnage, but actually pretty profitable for a lot of people I knew. And having said that, if you want to trade crypto, by the way, a little link will be down below to 𝗏𝗏, as right now, a new campaign just started today. And as of this point, I looked at the team P&L, so the team profit and loss, and of course, we're number one in the entirety of the world. So that is pretty cool. Right now, we've got about 2,023 people in our team, and we're actually the number one in the entire world, which I found kind of odd, above Crypto Banter, above all these other trading channels and whatever. I don't know, I felt it was kind of cool. Now, in terms of volume, we're not that high. We're 13th in the entire world because, again, it just started today. But as it ramps up, just this first spot, for example, here, could, depending on how crazy this competition goes, be tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars for the team. So if you've not signed up yet for 𝗏𝗏, check out the link down below. And if you're interested in trading, make sure you check this out right now because there could be some pretty massive rewards. Talking about things that are pretty massive, one thing I found quite interesting is that New Mexico could buy up to $2 billion in Bitcoin if a new bill passes. And one of the interesting things about the crypto space right now is, I've said it a few times, that a lot of countries really are looking into adapting it in some way, shape, or form. Even in the United States, with all this talk of a reserve of sorts, still people talk down on it. Still people think that we are overvalued or we're going to have a lot of slashing still yet to go. And I keep looking at these statements thinking, man, if somebody told me this some years back, shouldn't I have gone all in? And now do with that information as you please, basically. But if you're wondering from the camp of Trump tariffs will have delay, may start April 1st. Well, there's been more. Trump also said the interest rates are going to be going down. He just said that about 1 minute ago. And really, it seems everybody's just stuck up on what Trump has been deciding and what's been going on. It's like the entire day is just filled with Trump, and Trump announcements. President Trump says today is the big one. Reciprocal tariffs, huh? But also something pretty massive that came up today. It was basically in the night, so for some people this was already yesterday, was that 21 shares proposed adding staking to its Ethereum ETF. And Ethereum pretty quickly afterwards saw a pretty good bump in the price. Right now it's fallen right back down because it wouldn't be Ethereum if it didn't do that. But overall, again, the tides have changed, man. Even though this pattern looks quite quote unquote negative, or I guess neutral in that sense because it's converging towards the side, right? Towards, let's just call it the 2,800 or 2,900 or something like that. I still consider this to be like the starting moment before something big happens, because I think all of us are looking for that breakout towards the upside to occur afterwards and it being crazy bullish. But besides that point, I've been looking at this XRP position for so long, and it's every single time I look back, not moved a single freaking inch. Every single time I look at it, it's between $2.30 and $2.50 something, right? 53 or something like that. Every single time I look back at it. And so the last, let's see here, since the 5th of February, basically, so for about a week now, we've just been going sideways. Some of the people that are trying to buy this bottom could have actually booked significant profits already, just trying to buy the dip every time. It goes to $2.30, for example. Here it went back up 10% or so in a day. Here it went back up roughly 7% or so in, again, a day. And from this bottom up to right around now, we're up 8% or so, which is, again, a funny thing. I've often said, if you always religiously buy the XRP dip, or sometimes if you just buy your way out of the breakout, you'll probably be successful. Again, on the short term back there, would have been a pretty profitable endeavor to buy that breakout. On a longer term scale, though, in this case, you see it didn't. But historically, still it stands that if you buy XRP dips, if you went crazy hard, for example, at $2, I said before, we're going all at $2, blah, 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 but it went too fast. It came down too hard. But if you did, you might have hated your life for a little bit at $1.77, but afterwards, right now, you can see that even from that $2, let's call it 196 level, we right now are back up 24% or so. And this was one of the craziest liquidation sprees ever. I said there as well. If you lost your money, if you got stopped out, if something happened, you got to understand that that should have been your time to shine regardless, in the sense that Even if you did get stopped out, you should have been ready to open more and more and more. In our case, we were just adding slowly but surely. There was so much fear of another breakdown of things moving further that I only added, I think, $150,000 or so to the position instead of 1-point-something million like we were going to do. Again, I said before, I've got a couple of targets where I really want to scale in heavily. But again, this was the worst liquidation event in history. And sometimes you don't, I guess, catch the same opportunities as the theory should bring you. But right now, as it stands, we are hovering around the $2.40 mark, slightly above, slightly down from it, without really making any sort of decision. And I've said for a while, we are facing right now one of the most boring times we've seen in a very, very long time for the altcoin space, let's call it, for the crypto space here, really. Because again, you can just see sideways, sideways, sideways. But ultimately, this is also nice for a little bit of a longer term perspective, because that means there's also more profit to be made for people buying the bottom. Having said that, what am I expecting soon? So on a shorter term, I'll tell you right now that most of the, I guess, longer term fundamentals on a shorter term are looking quite nice, meaning most of the announcements that are coming out, none of them seem to be in a more negative sense. Before we were afraid of inflation, etc., etc. Now, if we're taking a look at it, what is going to be quite interesting, I'd say, is over on Wednesday, February 19th, to get ourselves the FOMC minutes. Sometimes it can be interesting. People today like the PPI. I don't really care about PPI too much myself. But furthermore, on the short-term agenda, there's not really that much to watch out for anymore. Maybe German election could be interesting. Maybe they get a new bullish crypto spearhead in there. I have no idea. I'm not following German politics. And to get back to it, I've said this for a bit now. I said it yesterday. It seems that this right now is going to be a BNB season. Meaning, if we're going to take a look at the best coins with the best ROI right now, it's not in utility coins, it's not in major memes or so. It's probably going to be in some of the new BNB runners. Right now on Solana, for example, it's a little bit too PvP-y. Meaning, there's a coin that runs, but it only runs for a few minutes before it's rugged, before, again, it moves on to the next. And I'm going to assume that the same is probably going to happen soon over on BNB. But right now, you can see all these different coins are just broccoli, 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 with one of the biggest ones being at 100 million. But sometimes these numbers can be deceitful, as they could manipulate the numbers to show a higher market cap. But in this case here, it's got tons of liquidity, most likely dual-sided. But it's only two. Oh, yeah, I guess he was going to share it. He shared it 3 hours ago, though. So that is interesting. Some of these are only 2 hours old. You'd expect 3 hours. Maybe it just doesn't update yet. But anyway, I think this might ignite a new whole wave of the Binance Smart Chain to do better than Solana. So if you didn't have any yet, I do recommend keeping yourself a little stash on the Binance Smart Chain, on BNB, just in case there's something specifically you want to buy. It might be handy to stay around that ecosystem. It's just logically, I think it might be a wise idea to do that. Even though you're not going to buy anything, it's always nice to be ready in case something crazy pops up. Like, for example, the president's coin. Some people were ready, right? They were steady and they bought in instantly. Well, they reaped the benefits of it. And some people, they were, oh, it is actually real. Let me go swap over. Let me get this Solana, blah, blah, blah. They were too late. That's why I always recommend to have a little stash ready, even if it's just a very little amount, so at least you can take action immediately. It's just something I've learned over time. You don't want to be in there regretting those things. Regardless, I'll say again that right now we are #1 in the entire competition. It's kind of interesting because I keep looking at this thinking right now we're basically at a no tier of rewards, right? But if the total volume of the competition gets above 70 billion, which it very well could, but let's just put it at lower targets, right? 30 billion or whatever, then the $80,000 in rewards that are, soon will basically go up to 5.6 million, which basically means if we keep this ranking, it could literally be that our team wins $1 million, for example. Could be absolutely freaking huge, which is why I tell people, man, if you're trading anyway, check out the link down below to Blowfin, as anybody in the world can probably use it. If not, use a VPN, but I think you can use it anywhere in the world. Anyway, link for it is gonna be down below. And if XRP gets a nice juicy pump in, our team is gonna shine like crazy. But right now, already, this is juicy to see. I mean, even volume-wise, we're in the top 13 or on the top first page, but we got to do a little bit better, I got to, as you guys might know, Brian is one of my good friends. I don't think we can stay behind him this far, At least it should be a little bit of a competition, because the rest, screw every single one of those. But yeah, so if you're trading, check out the link down below to that. And that's about it for this little crypto update on everything that's going on. See you guys again in another one.